problems with personal fouls recently.
He has.
How big of a concern is that?
It is. You know, one thing. We're gonna have to talk to him. I don't. How many has he had? 3?
3 in the last 4 years.
Yeah. I don't know if he's feeling a little bit good about how he's playing, and so he's getting more and more aggressive. I don't know. I'll sit down with him, and I need to talk to him about it. But I didn't see it as a problem until the other. You know, when you have 3 now, okay. 1, that's one thing. Then you go 2, say, okay now, come on. Now he's had his 3rd. So we need to, we'll address it.
Have you had situations like that previously at other stops where guys are playing a lot after the whistle, you got to rein it in?
I actually wish we had more. We've had problems with it in the past. You know, you like those guys that are got a little nasty to them. You gotta. It's hard to push them.
So
it's a lot easier to rein them in.
It's only a problem on touchdowns then?
That's where it's a major problem. No, it's a problem all the game. You don't want to give up 15 yards, but you don't want guys to not play through the whistle. And you know, the more experienced you become and the more you play, you start learning when you can pull it and when you better back off. Now with the quarterback, you really got to be careful. You got to be careful. But you know, I mean, we were hitting that guy pretty good now, and we hit Masoli pretty good. And you know, we emphasize hitting the quarterback like every team does. So you need to hit them because it affects them, and then they start throwing it to us. But you also got to know when not to hit them. And I mean, it was a personal foul. It was stupid.
Can you talk about the importance of this senior class as you've started trying to build the program?
Well, they've been through something like no other senior class in Tennessee history has been through. And I just appreciate all of them for embracing a third way of doing things in 3 years, and that's not easy. I haven't had one problem with the senior class, you know, wanting to do it how we want to do it. And I'm very grateful for that because, you know, it could have easily been different.
Derek, Chris Walker, do you feel as though he's played up to the expectations you had? And how much has his season been affected by injuries that haven't benched him, but he's had to play through?
He, I think his body is not what it should be physically, and I do think that's had an effect on him. And I'm sure if you ask Chris, he'll probably say he hasn't played as well as he could. Now he's last couple of weeks we've noticed him playing really well. You know, he was our player of the week last week, and he had another pretty good game this week. But I do think he's not been as healthy physically as he had hoped.
On punt returns, is it a problem just with the returners now? Is there maybe some issues with blocking that it's maybe not getting them enough time to make these catches?
Well, they're allowed to fair catch it if they're blocking it in there. There's a new rule they put in. I told our guys that if there's a guy in your face, they're going to let you stick your hand up and they won't hit you. Jansen didn't know that. I'm just kidding. So there's always issues blocking. That's why they allow you to do this. This one was a call that you're supposed to do this. You know, because we didn't block them, because we were trying to block the kick. So we were going for a block, and our returners know when we go for the block that it's automatic fair catch. But when you got a new guy in every week, they make mistakes, and that's, you know, he actually caught the punt. I don't know if y'all know that. He just fumbled. So if he had just stuck his hand up, we might not be having this conversation, but he did.
How does the punt returner get the call for that certain play? Because Gerald said on his fumbled punt, it was the same thing. You guys were trying to do a punt block, and he didn't get that call either.
Yeah, that's what they say. The punt return is signaled by the same guy that signals it every. How many times have we had a punt return this year? How many punts has our opponent had? guys are beautiful. I didn't get the call.
Punted 52 times.
For 52 times this year, the same guy's done it at the same location. And it's everybody's responsibility on the punt return unit, including the guys that are out there on defense, to look over and get the call, just like any other defensive play that they do every down. And so it's the player's responsibility, and I know it's hard to put some responsibility on these guys because usually it's never their fault, to look and get the call, all right? Just like, I mean, I don't know what else to say. We signal it, we signal it, we signal it. You know, we can't, they don't let us run out on the field and tell them. So we have to have a signal mechanism. And it worked. How many times?
13.
How many times they punted?
They punted 52.
It's worked 50 out of 52 times, obviously. Gerald didn't get it, and now is this what Anthony's claiming, or? Oh,
Yeah.
so 51 out of 52 it worked. Gerald didn't get the call.
Derek,
You
you guys,
talked about the inconsistency in the run game. How much of that is related to changing the personnel along the offensive line, and how much is just related to
Yeah.
getting beat up front?
I think a lot of it starts, Jimmy, with the inexperience coming in. So you have an offensive line none of whom have played next to each other. And then that's okay, because each week you expect them to get a little more comfortable and better. But then you hit on the next thing. Every 3 weeks there's been a change, and it has affected us. I mean, I will defend the players a little bit on that. It's hard. You know, working next to each other, and there's a lot of communication that goes on up front, and learning how to communicate with each other and what the other guy does and his body language and everything. It's important, and I think it has affected us.
Has David Oku played his way back into that 2 role?
He's our 2 right now. He's played better than any of the other guys trying to play 2. But I don't think anybody's been as productive as a 2 as we need him to be.
You talked about that running with conviction for him early. Did it seem like he was more intense on getting down to the
I do. I did sense that, and that's good. So it tells me he's trying to, and that's important. And I think Torrance sometimes doesn't do it. You know, it's the same deal. Let's get your pads down and go. So I noticed that with David the other night, and he caught a little rail route. You know, so he let Rajon know that he ain't the only one to catch a rail route, which was good.
Coach, talk about the progress that Tyler Bray has made, and also how you keep him focused, knowing what's at stake on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I hope this is part of his growth as a quarterback, is learning that you're not going to go out there and rip them for 350 points every week. That he still has a long way to go as it relates to preparation, as it relates to understanding defenses and learning defensive structures and getting offenses into a good play. So he's still, to me, a true freshman playing quarterback. But he's also still making a lot of good plays for us. And so that's what we've hung our hat on.
There's a new award this year. I think it's called the Burlsworth Award for a kid who starts his career as a walk-on and ends up, being a really good player.
Who's it named after?
Brandon Burlsworth, probably. Is that him? The Arkansas lineman?
Yeah, Brandon Bowles.
Yeah.
And Nick
Well,
Rivez.
we got a great candidate here.
I was supposed to say Nick Rivez is a nominee for it. Can you talk about kind of how important he's been to this team?
Oh, man. Where do you want to begin? Tremendous leadership by example. Does it right on and off the field. He's our most productive player on defense. He gives back to the community as well as anybody. Very strong in his faith. He's what I think every child, when they raise their boys, they want them to be like Nick Rivez. And that's a testament to his parents and his family, but it's even a bigger testament to him, because he's the one that's done it. And so he's just a great example for everything.